Hi there, welcome back. Welcome to a little bit more of 'Tis the Season for me. We're working on what was Dombey and Sons, and it's now simply a Dickens book. And I've been using the text block to support my spine. Let me move this. We'll be using that in a few minutes. So what I did yesterday off camera, just as well, because, hold on, we've got a little bit of Fabri-Tac there. It's too much work to get my book over to the sewing machine and then get the camera underneath so you can see what I'm doing. So I explain it every time. Despite probably being published between 1895 and 1902, this book wasn't in, the cover wasn't in horrible condition. I've had worse. If you're new here, don't pan. Oh, and I'm Catherine, so welcome if you're new here. Catherine up in Canada. This book was already in pieces when I got it, and it was missing pages. It was just in very rough shape. So it's going to enjoy a new life as a Christmas journal, a Dickensy Christmas journal. I'm not sure how long today's video will be, but I thought I would explain to you what I did to fortify the ends. The ends, the head and foot of the spine were abysmal, fraying, falling apart, and going to just decay further, actually probably quite quickly, if the new owner wants to be able to use this book frequently during the holiday seasons. I suspect a book this size will, sorry, just a little bit more of the Fabri-Tac was sticking through. The nice thing about Fabri-Tac is if some of it gloops out, let it dry, glooped out, and then go in and just take it off later. It'll peel off. But if you try and wipe it off, you'll smear clear, shiny glue, and you're stuck with a clear, shiny smear. So this needed to be fortified, and why not fortify it pretty? I was going to use plain fabric. Changed my mind, decided a pretty little Dickensy type book. When I say Dickensy, I think Victorian. That was the era that he lived in and wrote in. So this isn't necessarily going to be a Cratchit book, although I have some ideas in mind. And so I cleaned it with an eraser as best I could. And then I gave it a spray with my Mod Podge matte sealant aerosol, not the liquid. I'm always very clear about that. I don't want anyone going in with this liquid stuff or even the jar, the thicker pasty stuff. I'm using the stuff, it's aerosol. It's just like a can of hairspray, only it's still the yellow label Mod Podge. And you just give it a spray, and you can barely even tell it's there. But it seals it in. And it just for anyone who might be like my husband and a little bit of a germaphobe or that, doesn't bother me. Old germs doesn't bother me. And then I put this beautiful little Christmas tree on the back from this scrap paper sheet that I had, and it will also become the end papers. Where are they? I've got them ready. these will be the end papers in our sweet little Dickensy Victorian, maybe I should just call it a Victorian type. I don't know. All sorts. Old-fashioned all sorts. Maybe that's better, because I'm sure I'm going to break all kinds of Victorian rules with this. But I really love those end papers. Let's get centered here. So, because the hinges were quite good, I felt quite safe in going in with my contractor grade masking tape to simply fortify it. I wanted it soft and flexible, so I did not create a spine on my rolling pin that would be hard, you know, the kind that sounds like you're knocking on a door. There are times I want one of those, times I don't. I don't want one with this. And then, like I said, I decided I wanted something pretty to fortify this spine. So I found I wanted thin glue, again, so that it doesn't bulk it up, especially the hinges. I don't want the hinges bulked up. And so I found these scraps of lace in my, I have a scraps of lace bin. Just pieces of lace that weren't long enough to wrap around a cardboard thimble. And I thought, these are perfect. They're the right shade. They're not pure white. They look pretty, and they'll give strength, especially because they're wrapped around. So I glued those down with Fabri-Tac, but then I still went in with my sewing machine. You can't tell from this side. If you look closely and you know it's there, you can tell. I don't know if you can see it. I did a zigzag. But you can see it on this side. You won't see it once when the text block is in and the end papers are in. No one will be the wiser that this lace was fortified with a sewing machine, just to make sure that it's not going anywhere. I didn't want it to start peeling off. And now it's good and strong. Now the next thing I want to do today is I want to use one of my Tim Holtz window frames. And the kind of window frames that comes with these leaded glass cellophane. Cellophane? Is that what that is? Oh, I dropped something on the floor. Hold on. And so I've already put the cellophane in, glued it on the back. Where did I put my paper? Oh no. Hold on. I pulled a Catherine. I threw this paper over there to get it out of my way for a few minutes. And then I started chucking things on top of it, which I'm known to do. And I did get some glue on that side of that scrapbook paper. That's not a problem. I've done it before where I've put an upside down book cover on my little blob of glue and cried for a while. So I have glued our little window pane, our leaded glass, into the, I'm going to get a wet cloth. There we go. Sorry, I saw I had smeared some glue onto the glass, and I want the glass clean. So let's move this safely somewhere else other than where my little pool of glue is. And I want to, you can see the core of the chipboard along here, and I don't like that. So we're going to cover that up. I'm going to find the color of ink I want to use. Okay, so I'm going to go in with my Fallen Leaves. It's very dark. It's as close as brown can get to black, I swear. But on the other hand, when I look at where the wood is chipping and that's the color I'm seeing here. So I'm going to go in and sorry, I used it as a template to cut my leaded glass, and I roughed up that edge a little bit. So yay for sanding blocks. So I'm going to go in with Fallen Leaves, and I'm just going to darken that up nice and dark, make it look a little more finished. Make our little window so that you can sort of peer into what's going on inside the book. I'm excited for this book. It's mostly going to be simply an old-fashioned Christmassy type book, and writer's book, and but all sorts of book. I'm not going to be any rhyme or reason. I'm just going to enjoy myself and relax, take my mind off things, and have fun doing my favorite journals of the year. So I'm glad you're here with me. There we go. And we'll see the difference it makes. Now, you might think, Catherine, it won't make any difference. It really does, because it's so thick and three-dimensional. Once it's on the cover, the cover's going to look so pretty that people will pick it up and want to take a good look at the cover. And that's when it'll sort of, they may wonder, what is it about this that isn't looking quite legit? And that could very well be it, or at least to an artist's eye, that would definitely be it. So, there we go. This little window is ready for the cover. Now I have to decide where I'm going to put the window. I'm going to put it a little higher up because I want to put a book plate on this book. I'm going to put a long skinny one on that I have rusted myself. I'm not sure whether it was gold or whether it was silver, but I just threw it in my good old vinegar and peroxide and salt bath and rusted it, and then I used nail polish to seal it. And I find the nail polish really enhances that rusty look. And so it will need to go down a little bit lower. Let me move here and let's come down a bit so I can explain. Needs to go down a little bit lower because this is 3D. If this was flat, I could put it quite close. It'll need a bit of space because your fingers are going to need to be able to get the label in and out for if you don't like the title that I give the book. You'll be able to, when you get it home, take the label out, turn it over, and give it your own title, or create your own label. Now, the nice thing is, usually a pair of tweezers will also slip in and pull it out, and so probably that will be a good height. And that will give me room for our little label right there. So I like the way that looks. Now you might be wondering, what's she going to put in the window? So let me find it. Again, go through your thrift stores. They've got them out now. They save their Christmas books and they haul them out now. And find the Christmas, the type of books that are intended to give as hostess gifts or as coffee table books that have beautiful illustrations and talk about Christmases of days gone by. And I found this picture that I've already cut to fit the size of my window suitably. It was already curved on the top, and it actually came out to over here. So this lady unfortunately lost part of her dress and maybe an arm. Oh well, the things we give up for art. But it's going to fit in here nicely. And then we're going to be peering in at this family enjoying their Christmas tree. And let's take this off for now. So that's going to be the happy little family scene that we are looking in at. Now, I hope it's not too glary. I'm going to pause and move my camera so that I can see whether there's glare. All right, we seem to be okay for glare. You're not seeing too much glare from my window, and also I have my overhead light on today. So I think that's going to look nice. Now, I took a little lesson from my good friend Nancy over at Wishes and Weeds, and got myself some gem tack. She's been using it lately for sequins, but she highly recommended it and thought that it would also do well with other non-paper, non-fabric-y things that you wanted to glue down. So, and of course, my first thought was this plastic. I wanted to make sure that it was safe and secure. And so I knew that I could try Fabri-Tac. You know, it says it bonds fabrics, lace, glass, leather, wood, and trims. But I also know that Fabri-Tac really, really squishes out. If you need enough, if you have to use enough of it, it's really a squish out and can sometimes make a mess of what you're trying to glue down. So I thought, let's give the gem tack a try and see how this goes. And so I used the gem tack to glue down this window, and I've been pushing on it from the other side, and it appears to be on there very good. So I think we are going to go ahead and now put our little happy Christmas family onto the back here. So you can see it was a book on various Christmas traditions and stories. Now I noticed that the gem tack bottle, they say to give it 24 hours for full strength. So, and for something as simple as this, I think we'll be fine to just continue working, and it can have its 24 hours on my cover when we're done. So I'm going to go around the edge. I found it was quite thick, very difficult to squeeze out of the bottle. Now, I did notice when I opened my brand new bottle that the foil sealant inside the mouth of the bottle came off with this lid. So I'm not sure that all that time it was on the shelf that it had an airtight seal, and that may have caused it to thicken up because it was extremely thick to try and squeeze out of this bottle. So because of that, that's why I have this blob of it here, and I used one of my silicone brushes to paint around a little thin stripe around the edge when I did the window. And I'm going to do the same thing now to paint, to put this picture in there. I'm going to paint the glue on. See what I don't know if you can tell. It's quite thick. Now, the key for me is to move quickly because your first bit of glue is going to start drying as soon as you start painting, especially when you're using a thin amount. But I found that I was able to get the amount of glue I wanted on better this way than by attempting to squeeze it. I attempted to squeeze it the first try and got a big blob, and I immediately went, oh no, when I was putting the leaded glass into our window pane. So this is just so we're just putting this down the edge. Little thin stripe, as thin as what we would get if we had used art glitter glue. But because it's plastic, don't want to trust art glitter glue with this important task of making this happy Christmas family the focal point of my happy little book cover. Now I'm going to go over this again just to be safe. All right, lift it up, turn it over. I'm going to move this because there is glue, and I'm going to put it here like this. But before I push it down, I want to make sure I am happy with where it is, and I am. Okay. And I'm going to give that a good push down. It looks like it's slippy enough to give you a bit of time to slightly reposition if you need to, which I did need to. There we go. Let's see. Yes. Okay, so there's our little Christmas family. I mostly wanted the children's faces and the tree. The little hint of the mother there, yes, but there's a child here, a child here, a child here. Unfortunately, there was another child on this side, but the child's still there. It's just behind the wall. So that's nice. I'm happy with that. And I'm going to immediately fold this up so the glue is sealed and put it in my recycling bin so that I am safe for the rest of the day. There we go. So I want to let this dry. I can feel that some of it has oozed out a little bit over the edge, so I'm not going to lay it down on my book for now. I'll hold it over top so we can get one last look at what I've done, and then where we're going to put this book plate. I tried lots of different book plates. That's the one I like. And there we go. That's the one that I settled on. I think it complements it the best. And as soon as I decide what the name of this little book is, we'll put a title in there. I'm thinking I have the Walter Scott label, and I'm thinking the Walter Scott label is going to go back here. And sometimes books I've found, old books, I've found the bookseller put their little sticker on the back, and sometimes they put it on inside of the front or the back cover. I've found it in all three of those places. So in this case, I really love this end paper, and I'm not sure, not convinced yet, but I'm not sure I want to put it on there. But never say never with me, right? So there we go. So thanks for joining me today. And next time you see this little book, it will probably have a title, and I will probably have a goodly portion of the signatures folded, and then we'll be picking out lace, because a book like this needs to have laces on the edges of some of the pages. All right, have a great rest of your day, and I hope you're safe and sound wherever you are, and we'll get together soon. We'll talk soon. Bye.